Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview series. I am your host, Barrett McDonald, and today I am joined by Ravi Kempaiah, the CEO of Zen Energy. Ravi, thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to kick things off with a brief background as to who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on about it. It's a real pleasure and glad to be part of it. I grew up in South India and then moved to Canada to pursue my master's in 2009. And then after my uh, graduate studies and PhD in Chicago, I came back to Halifax to work with the great scientist, Dr. Jeff Down at Dalhousie University. As a CEO of a startup, our goal is to commercialize the latest technology from Halifax, Dalhousie University to much needed markets around the world, and whether it is energy storage or transportation in Asia. So we are commercializing long lifetime batteries that could replace gasoline cars and trucks and buses in Asia and Africa.
Absolutely. That's pretty unique and something that is definitely needed in the way that things are headed. So, what would you say have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you started your business?
As as a scientist, I never thought about cash flow. You learn about the importance of cash flow when you start your startup, and you really begin to understand the the economics of it and what it is really needed to keep it going. Most people don't I think they underestimate how much work it takes to get the startup off the ground to profitability. And having great people around you is critical, especially when you go through tough times when you don't have good people around you. It can be extremely stressful. Another thing I really learned is that you have to fail quickly so you can do the right things. If you're slow and if you don't take risks, then you end up costing a lot of money and losing a lot of time and money. So I learned that you have to move quickly, and uh, focus on bigger things so you can endure some of the harder stuff and really, you know, be aware of the finances so you can turn the business into a profitable one.
Yeah, absolutely. The ability to fail quickly is something that I think makes a lot of people intimidated, but it's actually a freeing thing when you have that confidence to just let's try. And if it doesn't work, we're just going to try something else. And it's all about learning, right? There's no real failure. It's all about a learning lesson. So I think that's a great attitude to have, Ravi. So you touched on talent. What qualities do you look for in your employees, and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
That's a great question. What I have learned is that in the beginning, you need a very strong, dedicated team. Because as a startup, you're doing a lot of things. It is not a very structured company like, with 100 employees. You have to do multiple things. So in the beginning, you need people who are like James Bond. They know what to do at any point of time and just do it. And that comes, and once you have those employees, so you can really start scaling stuff, operations. But I really now look for is the right attitude and to be able to learn things, be adapt and agile enough to move forward. Because you can never build a successful startup just doing 9 to 5. Maybe once you have a established company, you can streamline things, do 9 to 5. But in the beginning, it's a lot more than 9 to 5. So you need people who are willing to go the extra mile and have that attitude of, I'm willing to do whatever is needed to bring it, make it happen. So that is quite important. And these days, what has happened is with the social media and all the other stuff going on, we are so used to instant gratification. I do things in 2 days, like Amazon Prime, it should land here. It doesn't happen in the startup world. You have to strive for many, many months. So being able to put all your energy in, but still be patient enough to see your result maybe few years down the line. That kind of you feel it in your gut. It's more of a gut instinct. You feel like, okay, this guy is going to make it, or this woman is going to make it. Some people can, maybe great employees, but they may not be able to endure the challenges of a startup. So
Right.
that's why I rely a lot on gut instinct and work from there. And you need good education for sure. You need somebody with great pedigree education to do it, but it's more about because real learning starts when you get into the real world. Even though I had a PhD, only when I started business, I learned so much about real world and application. I realized what we learn in the university is like minuscule. So I look at adaptability and attitude to work hard and learn. That's what I look for in employees.
Absolutely. And those are all great qualities to look for with everyone. So what would you say are some of the common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
Um, People think being an entrepreneur is this sly salesman kind of a job, but it is really not. You have, whether it is Apple or Microsoft, somebody is doing the selling job, so the technology can be built, and you have to have that great confidence in your product, build a great product, have that confidence, and be able to sell. I always thought, oh, selling is this greasy kind of thing, but it's not. It's an integral part of any business, and you have to learn how to do it properly. So that's one misconception I had to overcome. And people think, you just get money and companies, just go to public markets. No, it doesn't work like that. It's years and years of hard work. I think most people really underestimate how much work it takes to take a company from 5 members to 500 members.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So what would you attribute to the growth of your company?
Oh, well, we're quite small still. We're still a startup, with only 6 members. But we're able to do some significant revenue, even for a startup of 16 months. We were able to do more than $1 million in revenue. That's primarily to do with two things. One, being in the right market and working with the right people. Being in the right market, which is when everything is getting electrified, we knew this is the market that's going to grow. And being able to work with great companies like Novonix, work with scientists at Dalhousie, so you can build a solid product. I would attribute our success to these teams and the right market.
Yeah, absolutely. Surrounding yourself with the right people is paramount with anything. And it's not always people that see eye to eye when we're building our teams as entrepreneurs. We need someone that's going to challenge us and tell us no once in a while. And that takes a lot of bravery to surround yourself with those people. So I applaud the direction that you're headed in. So when you think back at when you got everything started, if you had to do it all over again, what do you think you would do differently?
That's a great question. I would do a lot of things differently. I would realize I would probably do much smarter marketing, and I would also streamline my supply chain, because supply chain is so critical to maintain your cost at a certain level so you can hit profitability. And also have a much bigger vision. Initially we started as an electric bike company making electric bikes, and some wise advisor told me, uh, you know, look at the forest, not just a tree, and which is,
Right.
don't focus yourself to one electric bikes or e-scooter product, but look at what really drives the market and focus on the bigger opportunity and try to capture that. So I would say those are quite valuable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that vision and direction are something that's huge to have in the beginning. It was said once that if your goals don't scare yourself, they're not big enough. So
Right.
there's nothing wrong
Exactly.
with that. Absolutely. So you're busy. You talked a lot about how everything goes past 9 to 5 and those types of things. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
To be honest, there's no balance. That's the honest truth. And I would say I'm fortunate to work in an industry which I'm really passionate about, so it doesn't feel like work. And all I think about is how can we make electric vehicles better, batteries better, and this is my true passion. And there's a great term in Japanese culture called ikigai. When ikigai means when what you dream, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you enjoy. We have a Venn diagram. If you have that common sweet spot, then your work doesn't feel like work, and you will live a long life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I had to do a lot of meandering. I was a yoga teacher in India. I was a scientist working on biomedical materials, uh, engineering, chemistry, all of that. And it took me almost 12 years to find my sweet spot. And now I'm there. I'm willing to endure 12-hour days for weeks on end without feeling burnt out. And I think, as they say, you have to really love what you do so you can endure all these things and really, put in the work.
Absolutely. Well, that's commendable for sure, Ravi. Ravi, I think that's it for our formal questions right now. I think when we look at leaving our viewing audience and our listening audience with some words of advice, or someone that's thinking about a startup, be it in the technology sector or just in business in general, do you have any last minute advice before we sign off here for someone who's going to be listening?
Well, knowing what I know, I would say just jump and, you will learn. Don't hesitate. So many of us procrastinate a lot in making the first step. You just jump and then you will learn a lot, and you just a self-learning cycle that you get on. So just do it, and, we will figure it out. Don't procrastinate. That's what I would say.
I think that's great advice, Ravi. So thank you so much for your time today, Ravi. It was great meeting you and learning more about your entrepreneurial journey. To everyone watching, I look forward to you in our next episode of the series. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Matt.